Just like that, we are back again for another episode of Who's Fighting, episode 55. Fellas, how have you been? How have you been? How have you been?
Ooh, hectic weekend.
Man,
Hectic weekend. A lot of boxing. Not a lot of sleep. But we here.
I know.
Happy Cinco de Drinko.
Cinco de
Right.
Drinko, Cinco de Sipo, Cinco de Kilo. I don't know. Yeah,
made
happy
it.
Cinco de Mayo. You know,
All of that.
we made it. We made it. We made it. Yeah, it's been wave after wave of great fixtures, but fights. Starting Friday, leading on to Saturday, and then climatic Sunday boxing, and also the UFC on a Saturday. Fellas, we have a lot to talk about, so let's not waste any time and let's go to New York City and talk about what happened over there. Let's start with the main card. Talk
Fatal
about an
Fury.
Fatal Fury. Talk about an upset. This is why we love boxing. Fellas, Romero versus Ryan Garcia. Who wants to take the first dig?
Well, I'll say that, as I stated previously, I'm a Rolly fan, so I'm not too surprised. I'm probably less surprised than a lot of people. Did I seen out there that Tank predicted Rolly? Y'all see that?
No,
Oh,
I didn't.
I didn't see that.
I guess they're saying that Tank predicted Rolly and that they were saying that Rolly hit harder than Ryan.
I did hear that.
Yeah. So, I mean, just based off of the Tank fight, I knew that he would be able to apply some pressure to Ryan. We think that Tank is one of the hardest hitters in the sport. And so I said, if he could put that type of pressure on Tank, then I was certain he could put that type of pressure on Ryan. I just thought that if it came down to a decision, I didn't think he'd get the nod. But, well, it helps when you get a second round knockdown. So,
Right. And he basically rode that knockdown to a pretty easy win, all things considered. It was just overall a weird night, sticking to this fight. Ryan Garcia was not able to throw that lead hook that he likes to throw, and really did not try or attempt any straight right hands or any variety to his offense, which was very puzzling to see the activity and the inability to kind of that puzzle of, hey, this guy has the right hand up pretty tight. Let's try something else. It's not a jab. Let's try 1-2. You didn't see any of that. So Rolly, he did his thing, got the second round knockdown.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Cam.
we in and out. I don't know if it's
In and
rained
out.
up there.
Yeah.
It's
But
raining
yeah.
down here. I know that for certain.
But yeah, definitely. This was an upset. Like LT said, people that follow Rolly know you already knew that the power is there, that athletic, wiry nature is there, and he's a guy who takes risks. But Ryan Garcia, to be honest, internet sensation, but I've not seen too many of his fights. I've seen like 4 or 5, maybe even less than that. And there's a common theme whenever he's fighting. He gets knocked down quite a bit in the second round. If we go back to Campbell, we go back to Tank, and now Rolly. And people are credit that to how he strikes and defends, right? So when he's going for it, he's very susceptible for a counter hit. And it was just weird. He got check hooked twice. He was down by Rolly. Remind me, is Rolly a lefty? I think he's orthodox. So it was a check hook. I believe it was a check hook. It was not just a hook. I think it was a check hook. But anyways, Rolly hit him with a double check and dropped him down. And that's kind of like a no-no. If you've been checked, like quick, I know you're on the attack, but quick cover up, attack but cover up. And that's that goes back to Floyd Mayweather. You know, to be a great counter puncher is also to anticipate to be hit. So like getting hit is part of the game to be a all-round fighter. And Ryan Garcia has shown so many times that he's very susceptible to getting hurt while he's on the press. And then after what preceded that, Ryan Garcia didn't look like Ryan Garcia, because Ryan Garcia is very reactionary. When he gets knocked down, he came back with he cleaned up, adjusted with Campbell, and knocked him out. With even Tank, he got some good moments after he got knocked down, where him and Tank were going at it body for body until he got, he could not handle Tank's body punches, right? That led to him, conceding that loss to Tank with a TKO. But this was weird. He started to box Rolly or go into defense mode where he's distancing himself. He's not trying to risk. And maybe that's a testament to Rolly's power, where he felt it and he was like, I can't do nothing with this awkward style. He was just not. And Rolly is gettable. We've seen what Cruz did to Rolly, because Rolly's crazy. He just goes in. Like Rolly, you could knock out Rolly, especially with Ryan's body to head combination. He's very good at that. So I was surprised that he didn't do that. He didn't go for Rolly's body. He didn't go for the textbook setup, follow my trap, body to head, get Rolly out of there, because Rolly has been he has been knocked down or knocked out or TKO just because he's wild. He goes in. So
that could be another thing too, is he is an orthodox stance, but he can be quite unorthodox as an opponent. That, and then a combination with maybe possibly the ring rust factor too.
Yep. So, and then other people were like crediting that he had dried out from the Ostering and he's off the cycle. So that's a residual of not being, with your additional, superpower, which is enhanced. I don't know about that, but I did see his body didn't look as toned as he's never been like a super toned guy, but he kind of looked like he had like ring rust. Even physically, he looked like he's not the Ryan Garcia, because if we talk about Ryan Garcia, we're talking about quick hands. We're talking about very reactionary, very, he's never gloves up. He's more like head moving. He was not looking fast. He just looked like Rolly looked like the athletic person there. And Ryan is athletic, and he's always been athletic, even in the amateurs. So I don't know how that he just didn't look like Ryan Garcia to me.
Yeah, he mentioned the environment played a part into that, with the crowd or lack thereof, a big crowd. I think as a professional fighter, you gotta be ready regardless. But we can't act like these athletes don't feed off of that energy in the crowd. One takeaway from the event, I really feel like the pedestrians should have a line of sight on one side. You saw the street was blocked, which makes sense. You want to keep the day-to-day safe, but that sidewalk that was bordering the event, I feel like that could have been a plexiglass type of situation. Gives it like a video game type of feel, and you get a little bit of interaction there. I mean, being in New York City, it looks like they had it blocked off pretty good, but I think there's got to be a way to bring the energy of the city a little closer to that event, so you can get that environment. It did, watching on TV, these I noticed it after Tails win. It was just very like there was this a lull in the crowd. It wasn't not a lot of excitement. You could only imagine people that were in attendance were high rollers and family. So but yeah, that's one thing he did mention. But he just looks uninspired, not ready. Ostering or not, I mean, I guess we'll see. We got to keep in mind, Ryan Garcia has never contended for a title or held a title. So this just may be what he is. One of those guys just gets to that point. He's a name. And as you know, in boxing, that can run out really fast. So you're as good as your last performance, and nobody was feeling this performance.
Yeah. Well, I agree, and salute to the victor, Rolly. It did. I I mean, he pulled an upset. I think Rolly went up to fight, right? He was not his normal weight division, right? He went up to fight. He looked comfortable. So hope to see what that does, and what whoever was on this fight card, there are people that are going to be victors. Like I'll use Teofimo. We'll talk about him later. People that actually showed up and showed out, and I think Turkey may have something special lined up for the people that showed out on this card right here. So Rolly made
hold on a second though.
Something big there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. So basically, Cam said that Ryan Garcia is Jake Paul with an amateur career. Right?
I mean, that will bring eyeballs and attention, and all the sound clips and all that. Yeah, I mean, at this point in his career, that is really all he's shown us.
Now, the last thing that Strap said, because if we talk about Ryan Garcia being ordered to face Boots, hey, let's Rolly. Is this redemption story for Rolly?
I mean, he got the dub. There's got to be some type of bigger fight that is out there to be made for Rolly Romero. I mean, that's just the natural occurrence. He's providing that character element into the build up for these fights. So I would expect to see him on some type of big card coming up later this year.
And that's why I always say there's a place in boxing for people like Rolando Romero.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Rolly, my description of Rolly, he's a suicide bomber. That's what he is. He's deadly to himself and others around him. So that's how I describe Rolando.
He hasn't really done anything detrimental to himself. He stayed out of trouble. He stayed clean. He's been game for fights. I mean, unless I'm missing something.
I'm saying boxing wise, his style. Like, yes, he's gonna get to. I worry for him. I mean, but again, like LT said, his weird style is getting him. He's a fan, and there's a reason why people just have a liking to Rolly. When he's not a typical textbook guy, and they say he's been fighting since he just started fighting at 16. And he's not that very old. So I don't know. He's on a mission that I just don't understand some of the things he does in the ring. And I'm like, why are you punching and both your feet are up in the air? Like there's something he does. I'm like, I've never seen that, but
the facts are his losses on his record are to a Gervonta Tank Davis and a Isak Pitbull Cruz. Yeah. So when you go down and look at the production as far as the record, I mean, you got to give him credit. He's the losses he has are to great fighters. There's no shame in that, and he comes back and he made weight. He showed up to do work.
Yeah. Well, salute to Rolando Romero, and can't wait to see you on another marquee production where you're headlining, and hopefully you do what it has to be done to win. So salute to Rolly Romero. On to our next co-headliner. We had Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. Fellas, did you have your blankets, your pillows?
Yeah.
This one put me straight to sleep.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what Rolly was saying. Like, dude, I'm trying to get up for this fight, and they're literally putting me to sleep. This is exactly what I expected from Devin Haney and on a comeback fight. Long hiatus after he and Ryan's fight. Hiatus for both of them. But this is exactly what I expected. Dangerous opponent in front of him. Don't let him hit you. Punch just enough to win, and don't let this guy hit you, and just add another victory to your belt. So,
yeah,
survive and advance.
Man, very much looked like he had PTSD. I've talked to a lot of agreements, and there is something mentally going on with Devin Haney. Antonio Tarver, kind of shaky listening to him with Jim Lampley. We didn't talk about Jim Lampley being on the broadcast. That was the event that otherwise was just so lackluster. But his feet looked unsteady from the opening bell, like very herky jerky. We're still seeing ghosts from Ryan's left hook coming through. I mean, something punches. I don't know. A lot of people are saying, boxing is, hit and not get hit, and there were great masters of Whitaker. He was criticizing his career about running, but
repeat, yeah.
He's landed over 500 punches. Landed 500 punches in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting anything remotely close to that with a Devin Haney. The unwillingness to put forth a fight was just very frustrating to watch. And then to get Bill Haney on top of that, talking and spreading rumors about Jose Ramirez being hurt after the fight. I mean, it was tough, man. No one wants to see a Haney Ryan Garcia rematch. I'm personally not very interested in seeing a Haney fight. It has to be some type of major implication behind that. It was, for me, it was an extremely tough watch. That was awful. That was awful. Awful. The snacks wasn't hitting. Like, if you on the snacks, they gotta be hitting. You gotta be hitting for something.
Yeah, Lil Duval's pause killed me. He had like a spud up a little clip of the fight, and like,
yo,
bro, that was so fun. And his quote was like,
"There's an art there."
Yo, this is crazy.
Blow for blow.
Like, that's there's literally a split up footage of them just. I don't know if it's checking for distance, range. I don't know what's happening here. It's just a guy who's gun shy and just timid.
On the flip side, learn how to cut off the ring. If guys do not want to engage in fighting, cut the ring off. Go watch some Triple G. Go watch heavyweights of the yesteryear. There are ways to make. So we can't criticize. Damn,
it's all good. It's all good. Is it only on my end? LT, is he choppy on your end?
Yeah.
But yeah, like you were saying, cutting off the ring, Triple G was very good at, and he did it in a slow way. I don't know how he's doing it, but he knew how to dance you to where he wants you to be. And he's that's another thing. He was very flat-footed. He was never a bouncy guy. He was just Chisora is also very good at cutting the ring, because he's a slower heavyweight who is not swinging volumes, but he wants to cut you to get to your body, and that's where he does his most damage. He's not a jab guy. He's a body. He works inside. And yeah, it's good to study people like that who know how to put you in a trap or put you in a position where, because what Haney's doing and what Ramirez is doing. Ramirez is and I don't want to use like Animal Kingdom type of stuff. Like, Ramirez is hunting and Haney is doing his best to like get out of harm's way. But sometimes like good offensive fighters like Triple G, Chisora does it very well. They know how to pretend that they know where you want to go, so they will always just counter that with moving to where you want to go, and then you land to where they hook, where they plan to land their hook or land their cross or wherever. So I think, yeah. But again, bringing it back to the opponent, you guys put me on. I went back and researched Jose Ramirez. Now he's a problem, and he can knock you out. So I've seen some of his knockouts, very, very, very deadly, and I didn't know why he wasn't propped as much in this promotion as what his pedigree is. He's a really deadly dude to dance with, especially for Devin Haney. after what happened with him and Ryan Garcia, they put a Ramirez because I didn't know his caliber. I didn't know his. But when I did my research, I'm like, oh, this guy's deadly. So I could see why Haney was like, nah, we're gonna fight in range, and I'm gonna control this thing. We're gonna box. I'm not gonna exchange in some crazy. We're not gonna fight. So I understand it, but golly, dude, like,
and from this perspective too, this is a survive and advance scenario where you're supposed to win this fight, and then it sets up for the buildup of a Ryan Garcia rematch. And
yeah, and like with Ryan, with that Ryan Garcia PTSD in your head, I don't know how fighters shake off a lot. Like, to me, I would think you have to have amnesia as a fighter. You can't think about but it's hard. I think it's just human nature that when you got clipped the last time is what's in your mind, and it's just playing. Mm-hmm. Like, dude caught me with the left here, caught me with this, caught me with that. But let's also remember, Haney didn't get knocked out. He lost through decision to Ryan. He didn't get, let's say, TKO'd. He didn't get KO'd. So salute to Haney for that. Sorry, say that again.
Well, no, he didn't get stopped, but
he didn't get stopped. But he got beat.
You saw some lingering effects, and that's when you have to a champion comes into play, because we've seen champions go down, take losses, and be able to come back and still be mentally tough to withstand whatever comes in the next fight. So that was a little bit concerning, seeing that from Devin Haney. Even though, I'm not really rooting for him per se, but at the same time, as a fight fan, I want to see guys rise to the occasion.
Facts. But hey, salute to David Haney. He won by unanimous decision. Hey, to the fans that watch that, I understand you need your hours back. You need to that time. Well, you'll never get it back again. It's gone.
Oh man.
Okay, Haney needs to follow this guy's approach. Talk about Teofimo Lopez. And that guy, let me lead this here. Teofimo, I was hard on you. I've been hard on you ever since that Kambosos fight. I've been hard on you because you look like a shadow of the fighter that I saw who outdanced Lomachenko and knocked him down and showed that he was the better fighter that day and had the charisma. He was likable, New Yorker, likes to talk his ish. But after that Kambosos fight, I thought we had lost that Teofimo. But let me tell you, what he did to Barbosa was a clinic, a masterclass. Those first 3 rounds is the best I've ever seen Teofimo. And then, of course, in the 4th, he started to showboat a little bit. But those first 3 rounds, dude, I know Barbosa Jr. belong in the ring with that man. That man was a maestro. Fellows, take that on.
All right, so I got to remind you that the guy did beat Vasily Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I'm super familiar with Lopez's work, and honestly, I feel like Barbosa impressed me the most because I have an expectation for Teofimo, and so I expected Teofimo to stop Barbosa. I do agree that severely outclassed, and I don't know if this is just Teo didn't want to stop him and just wanted to put on an exhibition. But I definitely was comparing the other fights. I was most impressed by Barbosa's performance and ability to survive, honestly.
Barbosa did hurt him in the 8th. Teofimo was wobbly, but that was Teo playing. Teo was playing. He was just seeing the finish line.
And he cut him.
Yep.
And it put some leather. Like he bruised his face.
But those cuts, those are the things that when you were moving along in these high level fights that can be a little concerning. It was below so caught a right hand. I mean, Teo looked great. I can't remember if it was Keyshawn that may have been drawing some criticism saying that he plays up or down to his competition. So, you know, one of those guys that if you know he's better than, he's gonna give you a little flair because he doesn't feel the threat. But you know, he gets into a guy that's on his level and he gets tensed up. You know, you see that with some of this. I do think mentally that's where it's at for Teofimo. Like, hey, how is he going to be on fight night? Is he going to be that guy that we know he can be, or is he going to be in his head?
Yeah, and he may have learned his lesson against Kambosos because he trying just doing too much. You know, what other things there? He's got a split decision against Sandor Martin. That was a questionable performance, but he also has unanimous decision against Josh Taylor. You know, right. So this is the same guy. I mean, I think I'm justified. All three of those guys on the card together. I think that it's a consensus now that Teo is the class of that generation, as far as those guys are concerned.
Yep. And he was at one time the youngest out of that generation, right? To be champ. He was like 21 when he became champ, when he beat Lomachenko 22.
Yeah, and then they didn't. It was 2020, and they didn't want to make him unanimous for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway. Teo. What Teo reminded me is
they didn't want to make him. What's the word I'm looking for? Undisputed.
Undisputed.
Yeah. I don't care. He was undisputed.
Yeah, but Teo. What Teo reminded me was, you know, a good fighter will always be a great fighter. It's just sometimes when you're performing, because it's art. You know, when you're performing, you have to really be in there. Like the last fights after Kambosos, you could see the first one was a cleanup, and he did get clipped. He was like wobbly with, I can't even remember the other fighter, but you know, he's been, like you said, he had a split decision here and there, but he's been winning his way. He's still been clawing his way to victories. Like, but it was never like the convincing Teo that we saw who fought Lomachenko. So seeing him fight like that with a deadly, slow but very accurate puncher in Barboza was a fresher breath of fresh air. I wish he carries that on and also keeps his eye not on the finish line, but man, do not get complacent. Yes, you're looking good, but that's when your opponent is mostly dangerous, because now you seeing yourself outclassing someone in those early rounds, and then you start to go to sleep. You start, you know, your opponent is rocking you to sleep slowly, and then boom, you get clipped. Now you're scrambling. You're on your bike. Now the last rounds make me forget all the amazing stuff that you did in the first round because you're just on your back foot, running for your life. Like that side of his game needs to change. But bro, he's an elite fighter, and I think he stands out as, you know, top 3 in that division alone, lightweight leading on up. So I want to see him fight more, and I think he was the victor for the day. He's the one that grabbed that opportunity. I'll be honest with you, plain honest, that card, I was very, I wouldn't say unimpressive, but what's the word? Underwhelmed. I was underwhelmed by some of the fights, but he's the one that kind of kept the level. He kept the level. He kept at least to a level up of what he usually does, and he sees that moment in New York. Maybe it's just the hometown feel, but he did show up. So salute to Teofimo. Should we move on to the last the fight that started this all off? We have Riato to see me versus Leviel Winnington. Did I say that right?
Leviel.
Okay, never seen that. Leviel spelled like it, but Leviel Winnington. I didn't watch this. This was super early because New York, they're ahead of they're just ahead of our time. I was leaving. Actually, I called Cam when I was leaving work. like because we were supposed to do a watch party or some form of live session and go through the fights. By the time I was leaving work, Teofimo was gonna go on, and I missed this one. Fellas, did you watch this? It was a rookie, not rookie, but it was a guy making his pro debut in I can't say I can't say that Japanese name.
I mean, yeah, honestly, I don't. It opened up the card. Lavelle Whittington, tough game opponent, but I mean, it's too early to tell for Tsusumi if he's going to be a hot prospect or not. Not a lot of fanfare, not a lot of energy in the crowd. It just felt like just some of passing the time, much like the firefighter versus the police that was non-televised.
Yeah.
Basically a sparring match before this one came on. So it was a nothing burger on this one.
and like a lot of these Japanese fighters are on top ranking partnerships. So it's interesting seeing Ring coaching one of the Japanese prospect fighters that is looked highly in their amateur. Like he's big talk to be on that type of card. So Ryoto is someone that I think Matchroom it was Matchroom, Ring, and who else in the zone that put the whole thing together. I don't know if that's Matchroom or Ring that are his stable, but hey, salute to a Japanese being on a different promotion outside top ranking. How many Japanese fighters do you know that are not top ranking affiliates?
I think he's on Ring. He wore actually a Ring magazine robe in Ring magazine trunks. So now, if you're going to promote your fighter, you might want to get him an opponent that might lay down a little bit, because Lavelle Whittington did not lay down. He put on a tough, very tough fight. Jim Lampley and Antonio Tarver mentioned several times that he was much better than his record gave us, which we came into the fight at 1-2 with one knockout. So a very tough debut for Mr. Ryoto.
And then now we cross over. That was just Friday. We spent 30 minutes on that. So and that was the anticlimactic day. Now we're going to go into another one that had its own ups and downs, peaks and valleys, as they may say. We are talking about the king of Cinco de Mayo, Saul Canelo Álvarez. The Cinnamon Man is back again, doing his inaugural, this is annual Cinco de Mayo showcase. The pride of Mexico. Where is he from? Guadalajara, Mexico. I'm doing my Bruce Buffer, but salute to Canelo. He did what he did. Fellas, how overwhelmed? I mean, so how underwhelmed or under? Okay, what was your expectations on this one, and what were the results? Is what I'm trying to reach at.
Well, Canelo's lazy in his old age.
He's slow of foot.
He was versing William Scull.
Yeah, man. I mean,
as we come to learn,
school needs to go back to school. Cause man, this was probably one of the more frustrating. This is a little bit more frustrating than the Devin Haney fight, because these were two champions. This was a championship fight, right? Air quotes. Championship fight that gave us zero entertainment, zero intrigue. Nothing interesting about this fight happened except the amount of punches that were landed. It was ridiculous. I mean, William Scull, he might have ruined his career with this fight. And regardless of him maybe scoring during these rounds, no one wanted to see him win, because no one wants to see him fight again. If that's the way you want to win, we're not gonna give it to you. Thank the judges for not giving William Scull some of these rounds, which technically he could have been scored and won some of these rounds. If we just want to be honest with it, but we don't want to see him on more because we know what it looks like when we see someone that is boxing, using the ring, being artful, being crafty versus someone that's in the ring to survive and to get a check. We've seen this with one of the Charlos. We saw this with Berlanga. I mean, it's sickening at this point. We have to put proper blame on Canelo for one, not cutting the ring off, and two, taking fights where people aren't going to fight you, because there are guys out there that will fight you. And instead of fighting Benavidez, we're going to get Terrence Bud Crawford instead. So
yeah, now, man. Berlanga has come out and said this is recent. Berlanga came out and said he was injured and he took on that fight.
Yep.
He had a shoulder injury.
Now, boxer probably has a little bit of shoulder injury going into a fight. I've heard it so many times. So, man,
all right.
Shut, you know.
Fair enough. Yeah, you know. I really don't want to talk about it. I mean, Shakur Stevenson came out and said that if Scull's the A side, he probably wins that fight.
Yeah, and we're still frustrated. And he's right though.
What's right? Let's look at the Devin Haney fight.
Right. You know what's crazy is
correct. No, you have a great point there.
I think what annoyed me about this the most is not the actual fight, but it's the lead up. The lead up is Scull, you know, from Scotland or whatever, Cuban, European fighter, Cuban style. You know, we know what a Cuban style is. I'm envisioning a guy who's 3 feet taller than Canelo, 4 feet bigger, stronger guy than Canelo. These workouts, they're leading up to, you know, he's a Cuban fighter. He's, you know, pedigree, amateur career, with all that stuff, all that yada 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 yada. And then I watched the fight, and I'm like, yo, this guy's a track star. This guy, he's a runner, he's a track star, and it got so blatant that this guy's going in for that check, where all the things that I scouted him to do, which is good jab, good in and out fighter, it did not happen. And dude was nothing from the scouting, nothing from what the commentators wanted was happening. So dude was he wasted everybody's time. Like you said, Cam, or LT, somebody said that he's just killed his appeal to for the boxing fan, especially the casual who will not understand hitting and moving like that. They will not want to see that guy headline ever again. And if the fans don't want that, you know what's happening. Turkey must make the fans happy. So
and so we all, you know, going into this, we all understood that this was going for undisputed, 2 times undisputed, even though the IBF stripped and gave the belt to Scull.
Yeah.
It sets up for the officially announced fight against Terrence Crawford for September 12th, which we all anticipated that deal was done. So September 12th for undisputed. We know that. Okay. But then is where the interesting part with Canelo's new contract comes into play, because he's slated following for February 2026 and then October 2026, where he comes off schedule, right? He goes away from the Cinco de Mayo and then Mexican Independence Day in September. So it's shaping up for obviously Terrence Crawford. And so February 2026, we anticipate the winner of the Bivol Better BF trilogy. And I'm thinking that it's Canelo hoping for Bivol to avenge the blemish on his record, and he can challenge for undisputed at 175. And then the following fight, October 2026, backtracking a little bit here, because we got to understand that everything is on purpose. And why is somebody sitting center ringside for Eubank versus Ben, because Canelo wants on his bucket list a fight in a European stadium. And so it looks like Chris Eubank Jr. can deliver, because we've seen a full stadium for Chris Eubank Jr. And it looks like that's going to be potentially the dance partner October 2026 who can deliver Canelo the item on his bucket list.
Ooh.
And that means that and I really can see that timeline. So does that mean Canelo retires without facing a Mr. David Benavidez?
Yeah, he's already said that.
He already said he's not going to give him that opportunity.
So
yes,
100%.
Canelo already died. He doesn't mess with dude. And he said, I'm not going to give him the opportunity. So like Canelo like legit said, I'm giving charity. I'm helping people. I'm helping fighters. But I'm not helping David. Okay. What did dude do to you? I don't know what he did to you.
Right. Yeah. Just be great. That's all. Challenge is greatness. But hey, if the fans decided to clamor loud enough, things could change, because a Eubank fight does nothing for his legacy if it lines both of their pockets. It would be a spectacle. Not to say that I would not be interested in seeing that Canelo in the UK, but we're interested in seeing great fighters fight other great fighters that leave us lasting memories that we can go back and rewatch and debate over and analyze and pick apart. Canelo is running from that opportunity to fulfill fight fans' dream. So call it now. If fight fans want to see this fight, you got to get a little bit. There is a contract agreement for multiple fights with Turkey. So that gives fight fans plenty of time to get their pitchforks, get their Twitter fingers, whatever they got to do, their podcast microphones, and clamor for the Canelo Álvarez versus David Benavidez. We've seen fighters go back on their word before, but this needs to happen. Needs to happen.
Cam, either an A or a B to Chris Eubank. I think Chris Eubank has taken the lead on this, but a second fiddle, maybe Hamza Shiraz, who is a Berlanga opponent. You see what I'm saying? Nothing in boxing is coincidental. Everything is intentional. Hamza Shiraz, this is another guy that I can see them.
They want to build him up so bad. They want to build him up so bad, but if he goes out against Berlanga and puts another lackluster performance, he might not be that guy.
Yep.
He just may not be that guy, and we'll see. You know, we'll see how he fares against Berlanga.
And so it's become evident that Canelo wants lackluster opponents. Bruno Saras eliminated himself from this conversation. So Jaime Muguia re-enters the chat, unfortunately. Other candidates for this comeback fight were Christian Mbili and Jamal Charlo. So
Christian Mbili. The Canadian?
Oh, man, he was supposed to fight Pacheco. Pacheco decided to fight McCumbee.
So, I mean, I'm just giving you the scope of potentials that the camp had their eyes on. But I really think it's going to come down to Beeville 2026 rematch, undisputed, and then Eubank Jr. for the bucket list stadium fight. He's got to, and then he's got to finish. He's got to have a retirement match back home, right? So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Just bring anybody out for that.
Imagine we're projecting 3 fights out here, 2 fights out here.
How old is Eubank Jr.? Is he like 37, 36?
He's up
not-
there,
he's-
34. He may be the same age actually as Canelo.
No, yeah, he's also ticking. He's been around for a while. So
One thing though, after a Terrence Crawford fight, what type of product or what type of camp can the Canelo have to be ready for the next fight and the next fight after that? Because you potentially fight a Bivol or a Better BF. You better hope it's Bivol. You better hope Terrence Crawford is going to hit him. He's going to be touched in this fight. And let's say if he does, right, Better BF decides he wants to win one more time. Better BF is he a Mack truck, and he's not going to dance around the ring. So like Bivol will do a little bit of moving, but I don't think those just aren't great matchups for him.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys.
You don't want to go through a war in your last days of fighting. Like you just don't want to. You don't want to
start having like old man injuries. Like, just
you want to breeze through, do your Kobe farewell in peace. You want to do a Kobe farewell on a playoff game,
that old man injury is around the corner fighting these guys. Terrence Crawford, Bivol or Better BF, and then if we get loud enough, we can get a Benavidez to be entertained. It just it's on the fight.
The funny part is we are talking to Canelo like he's old man injury, but Better Biv is older than everybody. Better Biv is clocking 40 here. Like,
look, he's ready for 15-round fights though.
At that point, you don't know any better. Like, he's just gonna go hard. Like, you don't want to go to those, those war sessions with a guy like that. But I mean, Canelo, man, he's the golden goose, man. Everybody wants him, so he's just like. He's like that pretty girl that everybody just wants, their time. No pause. Or like I was gonna say, we move on. So another one that kind of oversold, underdelivered. I like these two fighters because they are very similar in many ways. I mean, not saying that they're, not saying the obvious that they're both African fighters who migrated to both Europe and America. We have Ajagba Efe, who lives in Dallas, I believe, and then we have Bakole, who lives now in Scotland, Edinburgh, I believe. These two fighters, actually, when I was with we have an episode that we recorded with our good friend of the show, Willie Chaconye, and I asked him to give me his predictions because he did fight not with Efe Ajagba in the African Championships, but he knows Efe in and out. But they fought. Willie was a cruiserweight back in the day. Efe was a heavy, so they kind of cross paths quite a bit, and they know each other. And also, Willie is very familiar with Martin Bakole because of that European connection and the East African games. So he knows these two fighters in and outs, and even his prediction kind of aligned with us. Irony here. His manager's prediction was exactly just kind of close to what the score was or what the final events, what happened. But anyways, just pulling that back, talking to Willie, he said there's no way in fit Martin Bakole will lose to Efe Ajagba. He said Efe Ajagba is very, very slow. He said he's an accurate puncher, but he's very, very slow. He said Martin Bakole may look big and a brute, but though he has quick hands. Don't sleep on that. He has quick hands that are deceptive. And he said Efe Ajagba is a bully, but he does not like to be pressured. So if you pressure Efe Ajagba, you will knock him out because of his slow hands. He wants that time to select his accurate punches. And that's what Willie said, verbatim. And he said, Martin Bakole is an improviser and he has a very deadly uppercut and he'll catch you. He'll catch you when you're slipping because he's good with the combinations to put you to sleep. And then when you have your high guard too high and a slip up, he hits you with that uppercut that, snaps your neck back. But anyways, he predicted Bakole to get him in a later round. From the videos that Willie and everybody was seeing, including us, we're seeing Bakole looking like he's getting in shape. But events of the day, but the true stories of the day, he stood on the scale at 299, not far from what he was weighing when he came in and fought Joe Parker. So, fellows, take that on with that lead up.
Well, apparently he mentioned he did not have a full camp because you take a knockout loss in the heavyweight division, there has to be some type of time off. I did not expect him to come in that heavy. I'm really hoping that if we see Martin McCulley again, he does not come in at 300 pounds. That is not a good weight for him in the ring. Closer to that 280 mark. Big man such as himself, even getting down a little lighter, I think gives him the advantage over most heavyweights. But the thing that I did not see from him was the IQ. You know, when you are lessened by your preparation that you can have, you still have your mind in the ring. So the cutting the ring off, once again, that came into play, and you didn't see that adjustment. You saw him actually complain in the middle of the ring and ask the guy to come fight. But you have to go make him fight you. This is the heavyweight division, and this is a big opportunity for your career. Cut the ring off, make a fight happen, and get the dub. If Dogba almost snuck out of there, he just ran out of gas a little bit, running around from a bigger man. But really disappointed in Martin McCulley's performance. One being the weight, he may say he had a shortened camp. That could be possible. But then on top of that, show that you are your ring out is up to par and corner that guy and get him out of there. He had an opportunity to do that. He just didn't do it. So we got a lackluster draw. It was some entertainment in this fight. But we want to see a victor in these fights.
Yeah, I missed this one. I'm on the drive back. I was going to my location, old faithful spot where I go watch these bouts at, and so I did not see this one. I'm gonna check out the highlights. I was waiting to see maybe if I would watch it in its entirety, but Cam just talked me out of it. So.
I'll tell you this though. You'd want to watch it to see something that you've never seen before. It's like seeing it's like I have never, and I never want to see this. I never want to see Ajagba on the back foot ever again. He's the type of fighter I want to see stepping full gas, knocking people out. Like Efe was legit fighting with a jab and moving back the whole time. Jab and moving back. I wasn't seeing the 1-2 in 1-2 body uppercut. None of that. It was so like Efe had a game plan. They knew this guy was out of shape. I'm gonna take him, and Efe did in the last, like he asked his trainer, like in the 9th or like what round are we on and whatever, and should I now start going for it? He did ask to go for it, but he did listen to his corner. They just didn't want to engage with Bakole at all. He didn't want to engage with, and when he did engage with Bakole, which I give Efe a good, that boy got a jaw, because Bakole hit him with some shots, but hit him with some good shots. But also Ajagba's jab work kind of got him that draw, because if it wasn't for that him backfooting, he would have lost that fight. Even with a sloppy Martin Bakole, Efe was gonna lose that fight because he wasn't aggressing. So his jab work, which I never want to see you do that, Efe Ajagba. You're a specimen. You're a boogeyman. You have one punch knockout power, dude. Like, we want to see that. We want to see how. I know they say Bakole could take a hit, but we saw what Joe Parker did to him. Joe Parker was not backfooting. Joe Parker was not Joe Parker was in the line of fire with this big mammoth, and Joe Parker didn't even hit him flush. He grazed him on top of the head, and dude lost his balance. Did he connect him with that? Joe Parker did he? I don't remember if it was a fully connected punch. It was like a graze, and dude kind of like lost his leg.
If it was boxing, a glance might have been a shot.
Right.
Strap, I told you got heavy hands, Strap. Like, come on now.
But not
heavyweight
not
division. A glancing blow is a lot, and
exactly
coming out of no camp, I was not surprised by that. But you do have to question Turkey's.
Yeah. But we lost you a little bit there, Camp. Yeah, but yeah, like I was picking up what you were saying. We have to question Turkey's decision to bring him back that fast after. Yes, he did get knocked out. He didn't get knocked out flash, and I don't know what the protocol is if you've been knocked out. What's the doctor's clearance date for you to be active again? But dude, he fought like not even 4 months past. He fought like maybe 2 months ago, and you're being brought back into another deadly fighter, and you're just I don't know if the purse or the money's worth it on Bakole's side, but yeah.
You bring it so now you're asking some
decisions.
You're asking some interesting questions because even though these fights take place in Saudi Arabia, I did notice and catch that they were sanctioned by the British Council. Mm-hmm. So just interesting tidbits there. Strap, I'm gonna ask you one question though. Yes. You're talking about FA fighting off the back foot. Do you think that there were moments that he missed for like, openings that he missed because he was on the back foot, or?
I think it was a smart plan, very good. But it's also like you could fight on the back foot and be dangerous. We've seen fighters do it all the time. We've seen Evander Holyfield was dangerous on the back foot. He knocked out a few people who are charging at him, but his ring IQ is so high. Evander knocked out people or doing some stuff that you've never seen, just moving. He was a very good offensive, defensive fighter. But this type of back foot fighting was jab, move, not jab, move, play with dude on the ropes as he gets close, kind of turn him, and then now you're on the offense. Not that Evander style. This was textbook Ask Kam Gee. Like you're learning boxing. Jab, move. He's trying to cut the ring off, move this side. Jab, move, just to produce activity for the judges.
So 1-on-1.
It wasn't a dangerous back foot approach.
Well, he tried to make an adjustment because Bakole was so heavy on his front foot and lunging. He took a half step back and started throwing the right hand. Throw the right hand over the top. That with some success. What happened was Bakole decided to close that distance and did not give him the opportunity to have the pull counter and brought it in close. So the adjustment would have been for a jogger either you clinch and force a reset so that you're not having that constant battle. You trying to get away, right? So that's one adjustment he could have made there. And then when the next adjustment is when you are moving like that and you're moving, you actually lure your opponent into an attack and then you reverse course. Mm-hmm. So but the conditioning heavyweight, these are big men. It's hard to do that for that amount of time. It's easy to say it. It's one thing to do it when a 300-pound human is throwing punches at you.
And that's the same way Jang got beat. Remember when Jang got beat his last fight? I forgot the gentleman's name that beat him. He beat him exactly like that. If you're that type of fighter like Jang, Martin Bakole, like Kam Gee's been saying this, you have to know how to cut that ring off. George Foreman was a professional at cutting the ring off and putting you in close proximity with him and put you in dangerous spots. Jang didn't do that. Jang couldn't keep up. I don't think Jang was knocked out and TK. He was tired. I think, like a dude like that making you move, hitting you, he was tired. Same thing as Martin Bakole. He would have got tired if Ajagba had more ring IQ to take advantage of him being out of shape. Who else am I thinking here who fights like that? Like a guy who's like, yo, come in the middle. Why are you running away? That's dude playing tricks. That's Martin Bakole trying to knowing that, bro, I'm tired chasing you around, dude. Like I'm not prepared to do the full 10 rounds and just chase you around. But that's how you knock out people. The Ali did that to the professional George Foreman, who was good at stalking and destroying his opponents. Ali yes, he stuck and moved, but Ali also got in some mix up with George, but he knew how to get George kind of tired, you know. So it's just, do you have the mindset to take a little bit of pain, even when you're on your back foot, to just create an opening so you can knock out? I don't know. These fighters, I don't think don't have that type of ring IQ. I mean, I don't want to knock their ring IQ, but they don't have the skill set to do that in their defense jab move setup.
Rematch?
No. At least for me, I don't know. Cam, what do you think? You want to see this again?
No, not at all.
I'll take a stiff out. I don't want to see Martin Bakole fight for like another, like, give me a 6 months. Let's see the athletic heavyweights. Let's see the Du Bois and others. These big guys. I mean, Jang, all these guys. Like, come on, go have a real camp. Go back to 185 when you were fighting Big Baby. Let's go. Let's see you at 185, and maybe I'll want
285.
I mean 285. Sorry, 285. Like when you were fighting Jared Big Baby, so Anderson. So this fight was also a main card. The veteran himself from Sweden, Badu Jack, the WBC cruiserweight champion, fought an Armenian, Noel Mikhailian. This was actually really good of a fight. Probably one of the best fights of the cards. And even actually, I was watching this with a friend of mine. He stopped by the house. And we both were like, oh, was that decision questionable? But anyways, Badu Jack retained his cruiserweight WBC belt, and he defeated the Armenian Noel Mikhailian. Fellas, did you get the chance to watch this?
Yeah, I've seen this in its entirety. Interesting fact, Jack came into the bout as the title holder. Mikhailian was champion in recess. So this was actually like to determine who the real champion was. So, you know, it was implications there, obviously, anytime the belt's on the line. But I think that Badu Jack was sneaky good here. Mm-hmm. I think that he had some next level defense that the naked eye wasn't catching, if you know what I mean. I was highly fatigued by this point, but I was catching that. I was anxious for the main event to start, but I think, you know, it's one of those things where you ask the question, did the winner do enough for the belt to change hands? And it's like, well, in this case, he's technically the belt holder.
Beat the champ, you gotta beat the champ.
It's so ironic, right? He's the belt holder fighting the champion in recess.
They had too much going on. That both guys holding up WBC straps, like that is not a good look. It should be an exclusivity to holding one of those belts.
Right.
Oh man.
But our guy from Armenia actually put on a great fight. Noel Mikhailian. Yeah, put on a great fight. Saw a lot of skill. He's a lifelong cruiserweight. He was able to throw his weight around at different points of the fight. I honestly thought he came out with the victory. Badu Jack has been subject to many close decisions. He's a name in the sport, so you always got to watch that. But Mikhailian, I think he did enough to win. In BoxRec, the fan score had it 116, 113.
Mm-hmm.
So still a very close fight, but the fans saw it. The Armenian pulling out the victory. Judges online had it like a couple judges tied. A couple of them had it. Badu Jack eking out a victory. So,
do you think
close fight?
Do you think it was Badu Jack waning in the later rounds and Mikhailian's offense picking up towards the end, or how did you see it? Or what were the swing rounds?
So there was some close rounds in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
There were some close rounds in the middle of that fight because you saw Badou Jack. He showed some skill. He would punch. He would pivot. He didn't really stay in front of McKillian too much. But what you did see was a punch variety from McKillian, a very high intelligent fight. And I felt like he just did just enough, a lot of straight punches, used his size. I feel like he did just enough to win some of those close rounds. So 115, 113, I would have been happy. I was leaning more towards Noel McKillian's side.
Do we really want to see Badou Jack's 41 at this point? Am I tripping? How old is he?
No. Yeah, he's 41. He's 41. No, he's 41. Yeah.
He's been around for a long time, yeah.
Do we want to see a 41-year-old Badou Jack against Jai Opetaia?
Yeah, I want to. I want to see him fight
Gilberto
Ramirez. I want to see Gilberto Ramirez. First of all, I want to see Opetaia fight Ramirez. That's the one I want to see. And then Badou Jack. Because Badou Jack, like, I've been watching his fighting history, whatever. I've been watching him for a long time. And he did have a time where his stock was dipping. And this is before he moved to cruiserweight. Remember when he had that one fight? I think his last fight, he was fighting when he split his head open.
That was the Pacquiao undercard.
Yeah,
was that Marcus Brown?
Yeah, and he lost. He was kind of like in a funk, but he was an ex-champion, and now he has this new like ever since the pivot when everything pivoted upwards for him. Ever since that Triller event with he was an undercard to Tyson and Roy Jones, and ever since that he's been going up, and he moved to cruiserweight. He's been looking good. He's a very smart fighter, and being smart is even at an older age, he knows not to get into those knucklehead exchanges. He's not going to do that at an older age. Yes. I don't know. Is Jai Opetaia, is he Samoan? What's he? Is he New Zealander? Australian. But he's Aborigine. Man, them boys is strong. Seeing an old Badou Jack versus that young Opetaia, that is scary, but maybe the youth of Opetaia may be his same demise because he's only 29, and you have a guy who's with ring IQ like Badou Jack. He may pull that off, but again, on paper, most people don't want to see that. They do want to see him versus the other guy who holds the other two belts, the WBO, which is because I know Opetaia has the IBF. The guy who holds WBO and the other belt, Gilberto Ramirez, is who they want to see. But I wouldn't be against Badou Jack getting the undisputed, and being a 40-year-old undisputed. I wouldn't be against. You don't want to see that.
No.
And they're talking about Usyk coming down to that division, and then Lawrence Okolie just moved up to heavyweight, but he's also questioning whether he wants to go back because Lawrence Okolie was the champ in the cruiserweight. So I don't know.
I do not want to see that. I do not want to see Badou Jack fight Lawrence Okolie. I'm sorry. I'm really trying to figure out. This is his Roy Jones moment when Roy Jones beat Jeff Lacey.
Yeah, exactly. We're good. We're good. That was a 2-year layoff. He held the division hostage for 2 years because of the whole belt. That's why everybody got a strap. There's a strap in Canada somewhere. There's a strap in Armenia, and then Badou Jack had his. It's time, brother. Relinquish the division, ride off into the sunset. Can't take 2-year layoffs. He fought in 2025. Last time he fought was February 20th, 2023. Then he fought a year after prior to that.
And like with this cruiserweight division confuses me. And then wasn't Beterbiev a cruiserweight champ at one time, or am I tripping? He's never been in cruiserweight. He's never been in the cruiserweight. He's never fought in the cruiserweight. or is it Bivol? One of them tested the cruiserweight for a little bit. I don't know. Hey, I may be just speaking, but I thought one of those guys, one of those Russian guys, was in the cruiserweight for like a second. But anyways, moving on to a part two. We're gonna talk about Mr. Jamie Munguia versus Bruno Soros for the second time. The first time it was an upset. Everybody was shook. Everybody was like, "Who is this Bruno Soros guy from France?" You know, stories came out that he's still a personal trainer in his local gym. He does this and this, and he's upset the world. With Jamie being one of the guys that we look up to being, you know, one of the guys who are coming up to take over when Canelo leaves the space. You know, the middleweight, the super middleweight. You know, what kind of setting up everything, setting up the table for Jamie Munguia just for him to get upset. But he came and got it back in blood, like young Push Shicey says, or said. So, fellas, were you impressed with this revenge? Oh, avenge. It's not revenge. Avenge. Or was it underwhelming? Systems have muted you, Cam. LT?
No, I was gonna say, I think Jaime is used to being an active fighter, and I think he came in with the intention to get some rounds here after probably his longest layoff since turning pro. But I was impressed. I was impressed with the way he handled this rematch. He didn't look gun shy. He didn't look over tentative or over cautious. But he got work in.
Mm-hmm.
Probably very much. I will say this. He didn't smother him on the ropes like he did in the first fight. That's the main thing. So he did pull back slightly. So there was a level of respect, you know, and rightfully so. He showed a new level of respect for this opponent, pulled back slightly to show healthy respect, but I don't think there was a fear there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I did see this fight, and I'll be honest, I thought Bruno Soros, the first fight was, you know, lightning in a bottle. I'll be honest, because I didn't know who the fighter is. Surprised everybody, right? Second fight, now I'm really looking at him as a problem. Like, even though he lost to Jaime, now you corrected me. I was calling him Jamie the whole time. To Jaime, but still, bro, I still was respecting him after the second fight. He's like, dude is looking good. He's stubborn. He's a stubborn little Frenchman, and I was like, oh, this dude is actually the real deal. It wasn't like a fluke, you know, because you could knock out. Everybody has a puncher's chance, and anybody can get got, right? But to see even Munguia really applying skill to this one, not you know, pushing him around, thinking like, yo, man, this is just one guy to add to my stat. Now, Jaime took this like, yo, I'm fighting like I'm fighting Canelo again. It was that type of thing where there was a healthy distance from dude because he had clipped him, and I respected him, and I think he kind of. I want to see Bruno fight more. I want to see him fight more because if you could do that with a Jaime, you could do that to a lot of guys in that super middleweight. Even if he lost the second fight.
Man, this is Bruno Soros is a testament to boxers to stay with it and to stay ready, because one fight changes life. One fight turned into a payday on a turkey card, and you know he's on the radar. I feel like he's earned the right to have other opportunities that will get him paid, so he does not have to lend his services to the local YMCA just if he wants to. And that's what you love to see in boxing, man. Guys carving out their own existence in the sport. He put on a very game performance. That right hand actually is crucial. Jaime Mugia had to have that left hand high and tight, and they made a point in the corner to tell him to keep the defense tight. So getting with Canelo's camp, they really stressed the defense. I mean, it was a good fight to watch, and we expected Jaime to pull out the victory, but much respect to Bruno Siraj.
All right. Just for the sake of time, and we have a lot to crunch in this short period of time. Let's travel to Sunday. By the way, fellows, before we move to that, what's your opinion on having day after, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday boxing? Was it what you wanted, or was it overwhelming from the consumption part? Do you want to consume your boxing in phases, or do you want it back to back to back to back to back before we hop on to Sunday's events?
I mean, we want fights.
Okay.
Let's put on this, but the issue with this past weekend is that we had 2 days in a row where there were sleepers. People were literally falling asleep watching these fights. If you're going to put on fights on like this, the fighting spirit has to be there. There's a rant by Timothy Bradley going out. That was after the 2 fights over the weekend. He was just, man, I felt like he said it perfectly for every fight fan. Like, come on, man, these guys have no fighting spirit. So much money on the line that we just can't get the entertainment value out of these fights, and it was unfortunate.
I was kind of worried. On LT, I'll let you speak. Sorry, my apologies. But I was kind of worried that fans may have the fatigue of just you're getting fights, but you're not getting that time to digest everything and have. I mean, especially for people that like us who kind of do recapping. Like, I'm like, dog, it's a lot. but from a casual, I could see like LT said, he was kind of he had his whole day sitting down on the couch watching, and he was kind of fatigued when he was seeing Badu Jack. He's like, when is the main card? When is the main one on here? Because it could be too much. But LT, what's your thought on that? Back to back.
Nah, man, I'm gonna watch all of it. I mean, you put it out there, I'm gonna watch it. We live in a society where if you don't catch it live, you can catch it later on anyway. So we're gonna consume things at our own pace. I want to see it live as it happens. I don't want to have to catch the highlight on YouTube or Twitter or some social media because I missed it in live time. I want to be there. I want to see it when the people in the stadium sees it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just me personally.
All right, so let's move to Super Sunday, the climatic event. We have Monster. Was he fighting stateside? Where were they fighting?
Vegas.
Monster came in and did what Monster does. He was fighting a more than capable opponent this time. Somebody that actually challenged Monster a little bit, kind of made Monster prove himself. Candidas, had you been watching Ramon Candidas fight before? This was my first time, by the way, so I was kind of surprised.
No, that left was crucial though, and it needed to be respected, and it got proper respect because once he landed that second round left hook, I think anyway completely took away from him. So that's the sign of greatness from anyway. But Cardenas, man, put on a great fight, man. Came to fight.
He's on my radar now. LT.
Correct. Ramon Cardenas fighting out of San Antonio. So
yeah, it's tough.
It might be somebody on the Barrios Pacquiao card. But nah, man, yeah, seen it. Yeah, I mean, this was obviously game planned. We seen the previous knockdown that in a way suffered in a similar fashion, and so this is good stuff where you planned for it, opportunity was there, you executed on it, but it's just next level that in a way makes the adjustment And when you go looking for that, going back to that same well, and the water's dried up there.
Yeah.
And then so to take it away, get back up, shake it off, take it away, and then deliver your own punishment twofold. Yeah, that's something special.
I think at this time I've run out of superlatives of good words to praise Inoue. Like we've done this. This is not new. It's just not saying I'm getting tired of it, but dude, it's so much to say. If you're a super bantamweight guy, that's very small, and you fought 30 times, of you knocked out 27 of your 30 opponents at that weight. That percentage, that clip of knocking out people at that weight is scary. That's heavyweight type of, where one punch fixes the equation.
The power, it's the power matching with the hand speed. Like
it's ridiculous. And yes, this was an 8th round TKO, but he's had some one punch second rounders. He finished Felton in the 3rd. He knocked him down so many times. If I remember that Steve Felton, Cool Boy Steph, he knocked him down so many. I'm like, how much power does this little dude have?
Right.
I believe, yeah. And I believe the conspiracy theory with Pacquiao was he didn't knock people out until he went up in weight, and this guy's already knocking people out. So
yeah, that's exactly. I think of Pacquiao when I think of Inoue. Like, this is just not humanly normal. Like, he's something that we are seeing, dare I say, in his weight division, generational. His brother is also nice. His brother is also a champ. So, I mean, they both knock out people, but geez, I've never seen anything like this. Like I'll be honest, prior to him, I was never really watching super bantamweight. But
he's also 32 years old, so there is some grown man strength there.
I've run out of praise for this guy. So to the age-old debate me and Cam have, is Inoue a legend? If his career stopped right now,
undisputed?
No, is he a legend? Would he be a legend? Would you consider, because Cam has high standards for the word legend. He's like, no, you can't be using legend on Sergey. I can't even say his name right now.
Undisputed though.
I think he is. I think Inoue is a legend.
I mean,
I think he's okay. He's crawling into that caliber. He just needs more eyes on to him.
I mean, I think once you've reached undisputed status, it's kind of hard to deny it.
So David Haney has been undisputed. Who else has been undisputed that we don't? Haney. Say that again, Cam. Can't hear you. Yeah, Haney has been undisputed. Who else has been a sneaky undisputed? Teofimo, more likely undisputed. The guy had how many belts? Yeah, he's held a lot of them. Oh wait. Inoue has been undisputed in 4 divisions, right? Or has he been just champion in 4 divisions, not undisputed in 4? Because I know that was the champion in 4 divisions. Okay, I was like, if he's undisputed in 4 divisions, give it to him. He's a legend.
I think Terrence Crawford's the only male to do it in 2 divisions.
And then Gabriel Fandora, he's done it in 2.
Well, we got Clarissa Shields, of course.
Has she been undisputed? Carissa's not been undisputed yet. Has she collected all of them?
I'm not sure about that.
I think she had like 3. She's.
Well, she's undisputed in heavyweight.
Oh, in heavyweight. Okay. Wow, I didn't even notice that. I thought she had. Oh, I don't know too many heavyweight women fighters.
Clarissa's been undisputed in 3 different divisions.
Wow. Yeah,
after winning the heavyweight, so
she's the GOAT.
And then I think Crawford has been undisputed in 2 divisions.
So yeah, hey, anyway, man, you're the most active guy. If you're watching this podcast, konnichiwa. But you've been the most active guy, heavyweight. I mean, sorry, most active champion in this modern era. And I like what you're doing. I like that now you're crossing over. I know you may not need American eyeballs because you're a god in Japan, but it shows that you're a dog. If you come out here and you're beating people from Texas, San Antonio, you're that guy. Like, and I love to see. I want you now to go to the UK, make like a what they call it, an imperial, like I go conquer everywhere. Go to the UK, beat their fighters over there, and then now invite them over to Japan for like for the second, for the for the second, for the sequel. But man, I like that you're doing this and you're doing what I would want some of the British fighters to do is come to America and plant their seed and get these American eyeballs onto your fight because they know you now. Top ranking will make them know you now. If they don't, you're a legend for sure. Another fight that happened that was televised from Top Ranking was Rafael Espinoza versus Edward Vasquez. This was for the WBO featherweight title. This ended with a 7th round TKO. Fellas, did you guys watch this Espinoza fight? I didn't get to watch it.
I definitely did tune into it. I wasn't watching it too hard. Cam, you want to chime in? You muted.
I don't know why. Yeah, I got like a ghost over here that wants to take me out. But
you're mute again. But yeah, like
I'm not. I don't know what happened. Edward Vasquez from Fort Worth, Texas, very tough, but just not enough, man. 6'1" featherweight. That's just a tough out. Just caught the short of the stick, but tough fight and exciting finish. It was on the televised portion of the ESPN fight card. We needed some excitement, and we got it right out the bat.
Yeah, looking at the record, like Espinoza, that's another impressive. We were talking about anyway, but at featherweight, you have 27 fights, 23 knockouts. Our boy scorching hot, getting people out of here, and he did it in 7th round fashion at featherweight. Salute to you, Espinoza, and I hopefully to see you again fight here soon, and of course you're the WBO champ. Yeah, that's all I can say on that. Just for the sake of time, we'll run through UFC fight night. This was in Iowa. So let's go over the quick rounds of what happened this Saturday. If I'm saying that right, the Muse, Iowa. We have Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo. If you know Davison Figueiredo, he's been a champion in the UFC before, and he's been a champion at a bantamweight. This was the main card. Brazilian Davison Figueiredo, his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you've known him, if you see his face, you know him. He's the guy who always kind of like blondes his hair out, and he has the tattoos and the cauliflower ears. Just like that's a generic UFC look for Brazilian fighters. But Corey Sandhagen won that fight by TKO in the 2nd round at minute 4 at 8 seconds. Moving on to the next fight, we have Rena De Rada versus Bo Nichols. This was also another TKO victory to Rena De Rada, and this was actually Bo Nichols' first loss ever, and that was to he lost by TKO to Rada by a knee kick to the body, and this was in the 2nd round at minute 1:53. And we move over to Santiago. Ooh, bear with me, this name. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez. So Santiago ended up winning this bout. This was in the welterweight division in the UFC. Santiago won with a third round knockout. He beat Daniel Rodriguez with a nice strike. I believe it was a right hook, and that knockout was in the which round was this? This was the third round, minute 2:45.
Bro, is that bro's entire MMA career? Or is
I
that...
believe this is his entire MMA career in even different organizations.
Yeah.
Not just the UFC, but he's fought 30 times, only lost 7. So we move over to Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. This was a unanimous decision victory for Mr. Montel Jackson. Montel stands with a record of 15-2. Daniel Marcos had 15-1. Well, with that being said, let's talk about some of the upcoming fights that are going to be happening this coming weekend, just for the sake of time. So it looks like May 10th, we have a fight scheduled in San Diego. LT, you want to talk about this fight?
Yeah, I mean, 2 good names here in Emmanuel Navarrete. I think Cam and I are probably more interested in Muratea. So
we should get some exciting fights though. We shouldn't get fights that are lack the explosiveness, the drama.
So we're looking at Navarrete and Suarez, 2 undefeated foes there. That's for the WBO junior lightweight title. And then Muratea versus Abdulayev for the vacant IBF lightweight belt. And I always say that the IBF is the backdoor to a big fight. But I think Muratea is actually a deserving fighter. So this can work out in our favor.
I have a question. Is Top Rank still ESPN? When is that contract running out? We had talks of Top Rank finding a new home. And somebody had brought up options like Hulu or whatever, Amazon or something. Am I making this up in my mind that Top Rank is looking for?
For right now, they're still on ESPN. And just a show note, we got his record coming in at 18-0. That is Suarez's record. I'd say right now it's 39-2. 32 wins coming by the way of knockout. Last out was December 7th against Oscar Valdez. We saw, I think we did talk about that fight for just a big size difference in that fight, and overwhelmed them. So just a show note right there.
That sounds about right.
So with these 2 fighters, right?
I will say that. Hold on a second. I will say this though. ESPN's website be having some mistakes.
Yo, they do, and it's crazy that they such a large doesn't update it more often. But that's why I always, when it comes to combat, refer to, or at least boxing, refer to the box rack.
Right.
So with these fighters, is it fair enough to do predictions on this? Or should we hold off on these? Should we just do our predictions on the premier main?
I have nothing. I have nothing on because I want a little more information. But hey, we shot dark if LT's with it.
Not really. I really just want to look at the other lightweight belt holders just
for reference. Yeah.
I can give you the other holders right now. I'll tell you. Give me a second.
Okay, no, specifically the IBF belt holder.
IBF?
Because this is for the vacant, right? So you know who the previous Vasily Lomachenko.
Oh, Lomachenko, yep. So there's Keyshawn WBO.
So this is for Lomachenko's belt.
Devontae WBA and Shakur WBC. And they have one here that put William Zepeda as an interim champ for WBC junior welterweight.
So this shapes up same camp Same side of the street. This shapes up for a Muratea versus a Keyshawn. It's a fight that can be made. What does that mean for your investment interests? It can be tough, but I mean,
Hold up.
if it's me, I want to send Muratea after Shakur, and I want to send Keyshawn after Javante. If it's me,
I'm not bad on.
huh?
I said I'm not mad about that. I think those would be some good matchups.
I think that's your first, and this is assuming that Muratea beats Abdulayev. But yeah,
that's not a Uzbeki fighter, huh?
More.
I want 2 unification fights, and then I want my 2 fighters to fight for undisputed.
By the way, there's a person that you guys are missing here. There's a man called Lamont Roach who's holding the WBA.
Oh,
that man needs activity. I mean, if Tank wants to run it again, the man that needs activity there, who I guarantee you has new fans, and people want to watch him fight. Must be the money. Salute to Coach Prime. Must be the money.
And Shakur said he'll fight Lamont. So,
man, Shakur wants to fight everybody. If you go off his Twitter, that guy, I love him, but man, his Twitter, man, Shakur wants to fight everybody.
There's a lot of excitement here. Zepeda waiting.
Yeah, he's the interim.
We're talking about Abdullah Mason, Kid Austin. A lot of excitement around this weight class right here.
There's also another person. There's the Oshiki Foster, or am I saying it right? Oshaki. He's the WBC. You're
taking it down a little bit there.
Remember him, the guy with the dreadlocks who fought on his belt again? Oshake. Foster.
We saw those fights against Kansei Sao, the back-to-back split decisions,
you don't want to see that.
We're gonna have to. He's got to fight somebody. So he's got the WBC super featherweight.
Yeah. I think it's the super light. Let me see here. He has the 130 belt. I wonder what division is that? Super light.
Lamont, no, it's junior lightweight. You talking about Shake has WBC junior lightweight.
Junior lightweight, yeah, sorry.
I don't see that translating very well going up. Let that man stay down there for a little while. Lamont Roach came up comfortably.
Yeah. But fellas, we're getting to the top of the hour. We're not even top of the hour. We already passed. We are halfway through the second hour. Listeners, and a lot of people, we don't have anyone live right now, but those watching the recorded, it's been an action-packed 3 days of boxing and a lot of recapping. Thank you for bearing with us for an hour, 38 minutes of this. And I wish we had a midweek episode. We'll put out a recorded episode. We interviewed heavyweight WBF champion, international champion, Willie Chaconye. So that will be one of those. They won't be a live show. It'll be a recorded one. We'll be putting that midweek. He has a fight May 17th versus Venezuelan Wilma Vasquez. He's an Olympian. He's going to fight an Olympian. So he's fighting a guy with a great pedigree, great amateur career, a little bit on the older side, but dangerous heavyweight. So wish to see my man do great. But as that has been said, it's been a great episode. 55 of Who's Fighting. Fellas, I know you guys are ready to call it a night. Kam Gee, LT, who is fighting.
Hey.